Hello guys, and welcome to my top 10 movie list from 2011. Now, there's just so many movies to be included, when I think of a top list from the end of the year. So I've decided to do this a couple different ways. I'm going to do this list as top 10 non-horror films. This is every other genre besides horror, because, everybody knows me, watches my videos. I'm sure you know horror is the main thing that I watch, but I watch everything. So this is going to be the top 10 overall films. Now, I'm also going to do a top 10 horror films, which I will be showing tomorrow for the first time. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go through the list 10 to number 1, and if I have the movie on DVD or Blu-ray, I will show it. If not, I will pull up the movie poster and show that in its place. So let's roll up the sleeves here. Take a big old swig of some nice Guinness. So tasty. And let's get down to business. Alright. Now, number 10 on my list would be Green Lantern. Now, I know this movie was pretty widely panned. Now, the version I am talking about is the uncut, the director's cut, which I forget how much longer. It's like 9 minutes longer. I've actually never watched the theatrical cut of this. I've heard, that the director's cut was always the way to go, and that's just what I watched from the get-go, and I liked it. I'm a sucker for movies like this. I like the big blockbuster summer action films. Excuse me. I'm drawn into them. I like the superhero movies, and this was a great year for superhero movies, I think. So yeah, this one, Green Lantern, number 10. Number 9, another one I didn't catch until it came out on Blu-ray. That is Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. Really enjoyed this film. It's a science fiction type film where they can go into people's brains, and like they can go back to the point of a terrorist attack or some type of accident that happened, and they can try to stop it from happening. Interesting film, cool premise. I liked it. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I've always liked him since Donnie Darko. I think he does a good job here. This looks excellent on Blu-ray. The film's pretty decent also. So yeah, Source Code, number 9. Moneyball is one that I just recently saw. Now, there always has to be a cutoff point every year. There are films that, I still haven't seen that I wanted to maybe add onto this list if I've seen them, but I just didn't get around to every one. But Moneyball is one I just watched last week. I really enjoyed it. Moneyball is a film that, it's based on a true story about Billy Bean, I believe his name was. And, it's just really cool because it kind of reminds me of like a Social Network of baseball films, I guess you could say, where it's a baseball film, but it's not, because it's basically about the inner workings of baseball, everything that goes on behind the scenes. And it's got some great acting, and it's just a really good film in general. So I highly recommend checking out Moneyball, and that one comes in at number 8. Now for number 7, this film I saw in the theater. I loved it, picked up the Blu-ray, still love it. That's Super 8. The film definitely has its flaws. I didn't really care for the ending, how they did everything in that, but the good definitely outweigh the bad in this. The kid actors are awesome. I love the camaraderie amongst them. Reminded me of like Goonies, Stand By Me, stuff like that. Totally different film than those. It's more akin to like E.T. and stuff like that, but I love this film, and this one comes in at number 7 on my list. Now the next film, this one could have definitely fell into the horror genre. This is one of them. I have a few like this. There's a couple of them in the horror top 10 that's like this also, where it could have been in just a non-horror, or it could have been in a horror list. But anyway, number 6 is Drive Angry. I just really love this film. I tend to think that this would probably lean more towards horror, I guess you'd say, but it's more like exploitation. Because I think that like horror fans and exploitation fans, they're the only fans that really got this movie. This movie was widely panned, and it just totally bombed at the box office. And I think it's a shame, because I loved it. I had a really good time with this movie. I think it's fun. Just turn your brain off and enjoy it. It's that type of film. It's just over the top craziness. But that's Drive Angry. I love it, and that is number 6 on my list. Number 5, this is one that blew me away. I was really surprised by this because I did not expect to even like it at all. That is X-Men First Class. The first 3 X-Men films, I never liked them. I've never been an X-Men type of guy. I just never really got into it. But I watched this on some recommendations. I picked this up Black Friday, Walmart sale for $5. So I figured if it sucks, oh well, it's $5. But I actually love this film. I really, really enjoyed it a whole lot. It's a great film. Shows the start of the X-Men, and it's just awesome. I highly recommend checking this out. That's number 5 on my list. Number 4. Now this film, I love this one. Again, superhero movies were top-notch this year, I believe. And this one I actually saw twice in the theater, and that is Thor. Now, Thor I didn't know a whole lot about. I knew a little bit about Thor going into this. I know some purists, that's read Thor, know Thor their whole life. They said that this isn't really a good adaptation, whatever. Bottom line, to me, it was an entertaining movie, a very entertaining movie. I love this movie. I love the effects. I love the action in it. I love the set pieces. I love even the CGI in this. I thought it was done exceptionally well. It's a great film. It's just a lot of fucking fun, and the 3D, at least on the home format, looks really good. In the theater, it wasn't very good. I watched it the first time in 3D. It kind of sucked. The second time I went and seen it, I just watched it in regular 2D. But yeah, anyway, guys, Thor is awesome. This is number 4 on my list. Now, number 3, this is the biggest surprise of the entire year for me. This is a film that I did not want to watch at all. I saw the trailer for it, like, whatever. Never really been a fan of this series really at all, and that is The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Now the original films, yeah, I liked them as a kid, but I just, whatever, since then, I just didn't care. The Tim Burton remake was a travesty. It was horrible. But when I saw the trailer for this, I was just like, whatever, it's another Planet of the Apes movies. But then I started hearing a lot of positive feedback on this. I kept hearing, a lot of trusted opinions say, Jason, check it out. And I picked it up, and I was floored by this movie. Just the emotional impact of this film, the human element to this film, and just everything that comes out of this film is just excellent. I mean, I was really surprised by this one. I did a review for this one. You can check that out if you feel like it. But yeah, guys, this one's number 3 on my list. Another one, just highly recommend this. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, awesome, awesome film. Now, number 2, this is a first for me. I am not a big cartoon guy, not at all. I don't really enjoy cartoons too much. I don't know what it is. They just lose my interest most of the time. I just can't really get into them. But this is definitely an exception. This is Batman Year One, coming in at number 2 on my top 10 list. This is, for those of you that don't know, this was a graphic novel that came out in 1986. Frank Miller totally reinvented the genre with this, and reinvented Batman, basically. And Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins really takes a lot from this story. And this is just an excellent adaptation of that graphic novel. Really, really good. I mean, it's almost panel for panel a recreation of that graphic novel, and it just looks great. I mean, the thing is, the only thing that's really different is the look of it. Like the graphic novel is a little bit more gritty. This is a little bit more polished and clean looking, but it doesn't take away from it whatsoever. Bryan Cranston, that plays on Breaking Bad, he does Commissioner Gordon's voice in this. He's absolutely excellent. And for those of you that don't like graphic novels or don't like cartoons or animated movies, this is the one you should check out. Give this one a shot, because this is actually adult material. I mean, this is PG-13. Batman actually drops the F-bomb in this once. I mean, it's definitely not for kids. This is definitely an adult cartoon. But it's very good, very faithful, and I was just so pleased with this, and I've watched it several times. I mean, it's only 64 minutes long. It's really fast, so I mean, it's something you can just put in and watch, on a night when you're wanting to go to bed or whatever. So yeah, I've watched it several times, guys. Highly recommend it. That's Batman Year One. And coming in at number 1 is another film that came out of nowhere for me, and actually, I'm going to take a drink on this one first. Let's have a sip of Guinness. Cheers. But like I was saying, this is a film that came out of nowhere for me. I didn't really know anything about this, hadn't heard anything in its theatrical run, but it is a film that just floored me in more ways than I still even know. I'm still trying to gather this film in my head totally because it was fucking phenomenal, and that would be Warrior. And I'm going to say it right now, this film got no award recognition whatsoever from the Golden Globes or the Oscars, so I say a big fuck you to both of them. And I usually don't do that. You know, I actually, last year there was a lot of things on the Oscars that I actually agreed with. I think that they recognize a lot of good films. But for them to not recognize this film in any category, any this year, it's beyond criminal. This film is fucking amazing, guys. I'm not a UFC fan at all, and I really enjoyed this film. Basically, it tells a story of two brothers who are training for the same tournament, and they haven't talked in years, and they don't realize they're training for the same tournament. They had a lot of childhood trauma. Nick Nolte plays their alcoholic father, and you know, there's just a lot of turmoil there between the two. It's a very emotional movie, but you definitely don't have to be a UFC fan. You don't have to be a fighting movie fan to enjoy this. And you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is probably the best fighting film I've seen since the original Rocky. And anybody that knows me knows how much I enjoy Rocky. I like that whole franchise, but that first film is in the top 5 all-time pictures for me. I mean, that's just like the top dog when it comes to fighting films, and this would be the best one I've seen since then. I liked it that much. You know, last year I loved The Fighter. I thought that was excellent. $1 Million Baby, that one's pretty good. All these other films, but this one, in my opinion, really beats it. It's great. I mean, it's kind of cliche, it kind of follows a formula. There's kind of parts where you're going to guess what's going to happen, but there's always something that happens in this that makes it slightly different, just a little bit different than what you've seen before. And plus, the acting is just top notch, man. A+ acting all around in this. I couldn't recommend it more. This is a 10 out of 10 film, and this one takes my #1 spot for top film of 2011. Now, with that said, guys, all these films, like I mentioned previously, I have not seen every film from 2011. There just comes a point where I have to have a cutoff, or it's going to end up being in March or April before I do this. You know, here it is coming up the end of January, and you know, I just had to cut it off. I didn't get to see Drive. I didn't get to see what's the movie with DiCaprio, whatever it was. I didn't get to see Hugo. I didn't get to see a lot of films, you know, that could have potentially been in this list. But you know, I think that this is a great list. You know, all these movies are ones that I would recommend checking out. And again, this is just my list. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. So rundown once again: number 10, we had Green Lantern. Number 9, we had Source Code. Number 8, Moneyball. Number 7, Super 8. Number 6, Drive Angry. Number 5, X-Men First Class. Number 4, Thor. Number 3, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Number 2, Batman Year One. And number 1, Warrior. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and look for my top 10 horror films of 2011 coming up very soon. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Jason. Have a good one.